So we take very lightly the systems and the principles that God lives by, or the ones that he holds dear, the rules, the ways that he, in his good and superior way of thinking, has deemed to be holy, to be righteous, to be right, to be truthful, to be good. And we take it so lightly. I mean, if you haven't noticed, you can see that there is a great shift taking place, and that it seems as if we have entered a sort of, I don't want to use the word a parallel dimension, but I would say a sort of twilight zone where things aren't what they used to be. And before COVID, or during the time of COVID, there was always this phrase that was made common and impressed upon us, and it was called new normal. And you might say that we are living in a new normal, but not so much health-wise, but mental-wise, in the way we accept the unacceptable, in the way we reject the righteous and the holy. And part of that is because of the context that we have been raised in. And when I say we, I mean this generation, the one living at this time, the people who are now in their 80s, in their 90s, all the way down to the people in their 20s, in their teens even. And this generation has been raised in a very, very wicked context. We have been led to believe, we have been led to take lightly, to give no gravitas to the weighty issues that God finds very, very, very important. We take them lightly, we take them, there are rules, there are regulations, there are laws, there are tenets, there are systems, there are principles, there are covenants that God takes very, very, very seriously, that we take very, very lightly. And it is under this context that we see that there is a great shift. We have shifted away from God, and in us shifting away from God, we sow a seed whose fruit needs to be reaped. And in this age, in this time, in this era, we are about to reap that fruit in full. And amongst the things that we see today, the sodomy, the murder, the vengeance that is being broadcast on television, the pornography that is being broadcast on the internet, the proliferation of wickedness, not only that is being acted out, but that is being broadcast into our senses by not only media houses backed by wealth, backed by power, backed by spiritual entities, backed by demonic entities. We have every Jack and Jill on the hill having something to say, adding that 2 cents. It used to be that you had to earn your place to have a platform where you could preach to the people, where you could broadcast the message. You had to be trustworthy. You had to have had an experience. You had to have gone through things. You had to have learned lessons. You had to have wisdom. You had to have something to say that was beneficial, that was edifying, that could build. You had to have earned your place at the table. You had to have earned your place at the soapbox. You couldn't just, being a nobody, find access to talk to thousands. But this is what happens today. A young man, a child, inexperienced, immature, influenced by every devil, will find a mic, will find a cell phone, and Bob's your uncle, there he is, already broadcasting nonsense, broadcasting immaturity, broadcasting abomination, broadcasting perversion, broadcasting foolishness, broadcasting misunderstanding. We have women who strip themselves naked for attention. We have gentlemen who strip themselves naked for attention. Brash brawlers, clouds without rain, empty vessels, clanging and making noise out there, without fear of God, without fear of consequence, raised by parents who have mollycoddled them, raised by parents who have absorbed the consequences for them, raised by parents who have, for the most part, delegated or relegated their duty to television, their duty of parenting, their duty of raising, their duty of educating and teaching, their duty of disciplining this generation to television, to the streets, to schools, to clubs. And we have so much rubbish, unimaginable gutter, sewer, rot being spewed continually and continuously, 24/7, with no checks, with no balances, with not so much as a warning. And then we have systems. We have all this social media that when you say something that is righteous, that is holy, that is edifying, that is educative, that is wise, you are misconstrued and you are banned and you are restricted and you are called offensive and what kind of generation is this? What is the content of this generation? What is its weight? What have they sown besides the wind? And what shall they reap besides the whirlwind? So I'm here to warn you, child of God, that as you are copying and pasting what the world is doing, be careful. This is a snare. Be careful what you are saying out there. Be careful what you are doing out there. Be careful what kind of light you are shining, being the city on the hill. Be careful of the character and the behavior that you are projecting through these screens. Life is not about likes. Oh, life is not about likes. Life is not about wealth and fame. Life is not about being the center of attention. Life is about God, about holiness and righteousness.